All right, so welcome back to Happy Hour with Heather and Guest. This is a special recording with Balázs from the band Kajgün, and
Hi,
I've been informed. Hello, thank you for being here.
thank you
Uh,
for having me.
my pleasure. I've been informed that Kajgün is just one of many different interpretations. So if you're out there and you would prefer to pronounce it differently, I think that'd be okay. So um, I don't remember how I found your band. I'm pretty sure I was on YouTube and the algorithm may have suggested it. But if I were to pick one word, it would be unique. Um, One thing I found to be really fascinating, and I read this on Bandcamp, was that I guess you could describe it as psychedelic jazz metal.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
Yeah, so the part I wanted to the sound is about heaviness mixed with reverberated melodies of violin, saxophone, synths, and theremin, influenced by such bands as Shining, King Crimson, and Tangerine Dream. Um, and I could definitely recognize what's really cool is for me personally, I find that a lot of progressive metal is very similar to jazz in that you're basing a lot of it on improvisation or it sounds like it's improvised, and in your case the music actually is improvised.
Yes, it's 100% improvised. So the way we play is that someone starts playing something and the others react, and sometimes we even proactively, unconsciously react to what the others are playing. So it's kind of like magic, but the only thing you have to do such kind of total improvisation is actually just to be reckless musically.
Well, reckless, but I also feel like you need to be in the groove. Like you have to be in sync with the other musicians. You can't come into it and not feel the same kind of group function. I mean, at least that's my opinion. I mean, what's really cool is that the music works really well together. It doesn't sound like it's being created on the spot, because all three of you or all four of you, I don't know how many musicians there are in
For
sync. Four, yeah. I mean, that's really impressive to me. As someone who's just a fan of music and plays guitar a little bit, but not anything, you know, but to imagine what it's like to improvise an entire song with other musicians, that's really impressive.
Thank
So
you.
well done. And I know the latest album was released on this year. It came out in the 20 in I don't remember the month, but I
I think
know
it was February.
February. And could you
Yes,
could you pronounce that for me as well?
we pronounce it as Daugod.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, I've noticed in the past, anytime I try to pronounce any music that's not originally in English or the title's not in English, I tend to get it really wrong. So I appreciate you suggesting that. But yeah, that there are a few albums that are on Bandcamp. So if you're interested in any of the things we've talked about, psychedelic, jazz, metal, the combination of these different elements, there will be something in this music for you. It's also instrumental. So for me, what was great is I could just put the album on and just sort of blast off and let the music kind of take me in a direction and not be influenced by any lyrics or anything like that. So it's very cool. The other thing I wanted to mention is something that someone from the Chronic Knot Collective said. They said, if you're looking for a way to visit a place that nobody's ever heard before, you can definitely find it here. So I have never, I mean, You mentioned King Crimson and Tangerine Dream, and if you're going to look to compare the music in terms of what you're in store for, that's probably a good comparison. But what you're doing is unique. I've never heard it before. It's really a cool combination of things.
Yeah, thanks again for the these words, for your kind words. Yes, and but so yeah, we have a lot of influences. And back to your thoughts about the synchronization, yeah, it's a kind of magic, you know. It's a kind of a flow. So we get into this flow. We obviously, because we have a past together. We have played together for years, and that's why we kind of know each other's thoughts musically. So this is one of the reasons we can establish an unconscious flow where we think together without directly communicating. So we communicate unconsciously and via the music, basically.
Yeah, well, it works really well. Um, Again, I hadn't really been as familiar with the combination of elements before. You think certain bands like Earthless, for example, who did mostly um, instrumental metal that was very much improvisational, and then a band like King Crimson, who's also really kind of progressive, um, but they don't quite have the sound, the instrumentation that you guys seem to have. Um, it's sort of like you're pushing the envelope a little further. You're kind of taking an idea and going even farther into the stratosphere with it. So it's really cool. I really enjoyed it. Do you have are there plans to record new music or play any shows coming up?
Yes, so we do have recorded music for this year. So we went to the studio 2 times. We had two studio sessions, and we also had a gig, an important gig, this year's Fekete Festival this August, and we recorded that as well. So the plan is to have them released, and yeah. So on November 26th, we are releasing the live recording of this Fekete gig, and yeah, it will be on Bandcamp, and the whole video is going to be published via YouTube. So that's definitely some new music from us to be published soon. And yeah, we are working on the post-production phase on the studio recordings, and we are planning how to release those. We are talking to labels, basically. So we would like to release it on a physical medium, CD, for example. On the long term, we would also like to release vinyl. Yeah. So and next shows. So next January, we definitely invited to a festival. More on that later. And yeah, so other gigs are under organization, being organized.
Well, okay. That's so. There is a live album to look forward to later this month. There'll be a new
Exactly.
studio album coming out, and there'll be opportunities to play live next year. So there's
Yeah.
a ton of stuff for people on the horizon, including a bunch of albums that are already available. So really, it's a great opportunity to get into this band from Budapest, Hungary. Um, and what's great is the name can be, you're not wrong. You're never wrong when you're pronouncing the name. It can be Kajgün or Kajgün, whatever strikes your fancy. But I really enjoyed it. And I was surprised too, because personally, when I think of metal, I don't necessarily think, okay, what this needs is saxophone. They just don't, but you make it work really well. Like a lot of the instruments that you use don't seem to be things that will lend themselves well to the type of music you play. And I was really happy to be proven wrong. So, what's great, if you're a fan of jazz and you're looking to get into heavy metal, if you're a fan of heavy metal and you're looking to get into jazz, and vice versa with all these different things, um, pick up any of these records. They're all on Bandcamp. I know you also have a social media presence. You're on Instagram,
Yep.
Twitter, Facebook. So please, I urge you, check out some new music, especially if you're looking for something that you haven't heard before. Um, then Kajgün is going to bring it to you.
Yeah, and we also have a YouTube channel where we upload our studio sessions and live shows. So I strongly recommend checking out the video because you can actually see how we play. And yeah, so it's all natural. So we behave like, let's go there and play something, and you can see
Yeah.
exactly
Well,
how we do it.
that's really exciting. If you want to see how the sausage is made, so to speak, you want to see what the cooks in the kitchen look like. This is the perfect opportunity, um, especially since excuse me, since the music is improvisational and they're making it up on the spot. You're basically This is an opportunity to see the magic happen. Um, so check it out. It's Kajgun. They have a YouTube channel. They're on social media. There's a bunch of albums available on Bandcamp. I'm looking forward to the live album coming out later this month. Did you say that was on November 28th?
26th.
26th. Okay. So November 26th, check it out. A live album. There's a studio album in the works. There's touring shows in the future. There's a YouTube channel with a lot of videos. So I think we covered it. We haven't left anything. I don't want to leave anything out. I don't think we have. But yeah, again, I'll quote Chronic Knot. If you're looking to visit a place nobody's ever heard of before, you can definitely find it here. This is a unique band. They make unique music. If you're into any of the things we talked about, even if you're not, if you're just a fan of good music, you'll find something here. I'm personally looking forward to watching some videos to see how you do what you do, because I can't wrap my mind around it. So, oops, hold on, sorry.
So yeah, and if you're not watching with the video, but just only listening to the music, you can just close your eyes, and we definitely literally take you on a journey, because we're kind of doing the journey ourselves, not just musically but mentally, and that's what we are trying to broadcast with our music. How we feel in that particular moment. So yeah.
Well, it'll be really cool to watch that on video. To sort of not only hear the music, but to see how it's created, and be able to watch the synergy that you and the other musicians are able to have with each other. Because right now I can hear it, but it'll be cool to see it actually happening. So, yeah, well, I'm really excited. I'm glad that there's new music coming out. And I'm going to look forward to checking out some of these videos. For those of you out there, the band is spelled Kajgun with an umlaut over the U. You can put that in Google. They're on Bandcamp. They have social media handles everywhere. They have a YouTube channel. And thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, have a good one, and we will definitely be in touch.
Okay, thank you. See you. Bye.